Okay, so this first one, it's asking what are the quadrants in the standard XY coordinate plane below that contain points on the graph of 4x minus 2y equals 8. So these quadrants, once we get into calculus, or not calculus, you'll talk about it in calculus too, but once we get into trig, we will talk a little bit more about these. But these quadrants, it always starts with, and maybe you already know this, but it always starts with 1 right here. And then you go counterclockwise to count these. So 1, this is the second quadrant, third quadrant, fourth quadrant. Okay. So here, if we want to know where these points are on this graph, well, we have this. It's basically a linear equation, right? We just need to get it in the form of y equals mx plus b, and we can graph this pretty easily. So I'm just going to rearrange some stuff here. If we have 4x minus 2y equals 8, I'm going to subtract that 4x over, so I get negative 2y equals negative 4x plus 8. Divide everything by negative 2, and I'm left with y equals 2x minus 4. Now I can graph that line pretty easy. So negative 4 is where we're crossing the x-axis, so I'm just going to go down, or the y-axis, I'm going to go down 4. And then the slope here is 2, so I go up 1, or up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1. And that line is going to look like that. Whoops. I did not draw that very well, but you get the point. That's what that line looks like. So clearly, it is not going to be in the second quadrant at all. It would be in 1, 3, and 4, so that's going to be D. Okay, any questions with that? Okay, let's look at this one. I'm going to zoom in just a teeny bit. So this one, the graph of y equals negative 5x squared plus 9 passes through 1, 2a in the standard xy coordinate plane. What is the value of a? Well, basically, this is saying that, well, x equals 1 and y equals 2a. So we could just plug those right into the equation. And you might have done this a little differently, but as long as you get the same answer, it doesn't matter. So I'm just, wherever there's a y, I'm going to put a 2a. So this is going to be 2a equals, wherever there's an x, I'm going to put a 1, negative 5 times 1 squared plus 9. And now I can solve this for a. So this is going to be 2a equals, 1 squared is 1, so 1 times negative 5 is negative 5 plus 9, which negative 5 plus 9 is 4. Divide by 2, so a must equal 2. Questions with that? Okay, let's look at this 35 here. So Jerome, Kevin, and Seth share a submarine sandwich. Jerome ate half of it, Kevin ate a third of it, and Seth ate the rest. So they did not leave Seth very much of this. And we want to know the ratio of Jerome's share to Kevin's share to Seth's share. So we know that Jerome ate half of this. We know that Kevin ate a third of it. So Seth ate whatever was left. So I'm just going to put a question mark for however much that portion is. And this equals 1. So half plus a third plus whatever's left is the whole sandwich. So let's just get a common denominator here, which would be 6. So 1/2 is the same as 3/6. 1/3 is the same as 2/6. Which that's pretty easy. 3/6 plus 2/6 is 5/6. So there's only 1/6 left that Seth ate. And this is going to equal the 6/6, which is the same thing as 1. So then if we're doing this as like parts, we can think of like 1/6 being 1 part. So 3/6, that means Jerome ate 3 parts. Kevin ate 2 parts. And Seth 8, 1 part. So this would be 3 to 2 to 1. Any questions with that? Okay, this last one, a particular circle in the standard xy coordinate plane has the equation x minus 5 squared plus y squared equals 38. We want to know the radius and the coordinates of the center. So if you know the equation of the circle, this is a pretty easy question. The equation of the circle is x minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals r squared. Whoever just said that, tell her to tell Maggie to make sure she's logged into CSD Docs and see if that works. Okay, anyways, but so this is telling us for this equation of the circle, the center here is h comma k, and the radius is r. And notice this is r squared, so you just have to square root it. So for our equation up here, well, the center for this one, our k is 0 in this point, so our center is 5 comma 0, which means that's not going to be j and it's not going to be k. And then the radius, well, the radius squared is 38. So if we just square root that, the radius equals the square root of 38. So it must be f. Questions with that? Okay, I'm going to switch screens and go over some of these 3 variable equations. And I suggest you write these down with me. So let's go through this one. If we have 4r minus s plus 6t equals 28, and 4r minus 4s minus 3t equals negative 20, and negative 5r plus 5s minus 3t equals negative 2. Last time we were solving 2 variable equations. So we had 2 equations and 2 variables and we could solve them. Now we have 3 variables and 3 equations and we need to solve these. It's kind of the same method, but it's just a little more tedious, longer, obviously. My biggest suggestion here, because a lot of times it's super easy to mess up a negative, it's super easy to mess up an addition or something. Be as organized as possible as you're going through these problems, okay? So the first thing I'm going to do here is I'm just going to label these. Equation 1, equation 2, and equation 3. Okay, just label the equations. Makes it easy, helps. That's just a way to keep us organized. Now, we have to choose which variable to eliminate. And it doesn't really matter. It's just whatever we choose. Whatever you choose, you have to stick with it. And you'll always end up at the same spot, regardless of what variable you choose. So looking at these, I think I'm going to choose to eliminate the t's. Mostly just because like the 3 t's are going to be pretty easy to cancel out. And 3 goes into 6, so that's also going to be pretty easy for us to do. Okay. Is there any questions so far? I know we haven't like really started this, but please interrupt me if you have questions going through this. So we have to start with 2 of these equations. Does not matter which 2. I'm just going to start with equation 2 and 3, since they both have that 3t variable right there. And I'm just going to rewrite both of these. So I have 4r minus 4s minus 3t, and that equals negative 20. And I have negative 5r plus 5s minus 3t, and that equals negative 2. I just rewrote those. That's all I've done so far. I need to eliminate the t's. So I'm going to multiply this top equation, or I could have done the bottom one, but I'm just going to multiply it by -1. Because then that's going to make it a positive 3t there instead of a negative 3t. And when we multiply this, it needs to go into all 4 things on this equation. So that's going to be -4r plus 4s plus 3t, and that equals positive 20. Any questions at all with what just happened? Okay, so the t's cancel, which is what we wanted to happen. So I'm left with -9r plus 9s, and that equals positive 18. And I'm going to call this equation number 4. Okay, so I have used equation 2, and I have used equation 3. We have to use equation number 1. Okay, we can't just leave equation 1 out, or else we're not actually solving the system. So I have to put equation 1 with either equation 2 or equation 3. Does not matter which one I choose. I'm just going to choose 2. And we have to do the same thing. We have to eliminate the t's in these equations right here. So we have 4r minus s plus 6t equals 28. We have 4r minus 4s minus 3t equals -20. Now I need to get rid of the t's. So I'm going to multiply this bottom equation by 2. Because if I multiply that by 2, that's going to end up giving me a -6t right here. So that's going to be 8r minus 8s minus 6t equals -40. And I'm just going to rewrite this equation down here. So we have 4r minus s plus 6t equals 28. Okay. So again, t's cancel out, which is what we wanted to happen. 8r plus 4r is 12r. -8s minus s is -9s. And that equals -40 plus 28 is -12. I think, yes. And this is going to be called equation number 5. Any questions so far with how we've gotten to this point? Now notice here, we have this equation in R and S. We have this equation in R and S. That is exactly what we wanted to happen. We want 2 equations with the same 2 variables. Because now we can do this the same way we did all of the homework from last time and just solve these 2 equations, okay, and solve for R and S. So I am going to take equation 4, and I'm going to take equation 5. I'm going to put those 2 equations together. So we have -9r plus 9s equals 18. And 12r minus 9s equals -12. And this happens to be easy for us because the s's just are going to cancel out right away here. That's not always going to happen, but -9r plus 12r is 3r. 18 minus 12 is 6. Divide by 3, and you end up getting r equals 2. Okay. Any questions at all with how we got to there? Okay, once we solve for that, we can plug it into either one of these equations that we were just doing. So either one of these two equations, which are equation 4 or equation 5. Because that way we can solve for t now at this point. So I'm going to just plug it into equation 4. So we have negative 9 times 2 plus 9s equals 18. So that's negative 18 plus 9s equals 18. Add that 18 over, you get 9s equals 36. So s equals 4. Any questions to there? Once you get two variables, then we can go and we can plug it into any of these top equations. Because if you know two of those variables, you're only missing one of them, it's easy to solve for it. And we'll always be solving for the variable that we chose to eliminate right at the beginning. So we're going to be solving for t's now. So I'm just going to plug this into equation 1. This is going to be 4 times r, which is 2, minus, no, you can't use your calculator, 4 plus 6t equals 28. So that's 8 minus 4 plus 6t equals 28. 4 plus 6t equals 28. So 6t equals 24, which means t equals 4. Okay. Write it in alphabetical order. So it's going to be RST, which is 2, 4, 4. And this is your answer. Questions with that? Not too bad, hopefully. This is definitely a tedious concept. Like, I know that. Just stay organized. If you stay organized, it's really, you guys are pretty good with working through equations and stuff. You just need to stay organized and don't make little mistakes, because little mistakes can blow up this whole problem. Okay. Let's do one more, and then I'll let you guys go. So let's do one that's like kind of funky, I guess. So we have negative 7x plus 4y plus 6z equals 28. And we have negative 7y plus z equals negative 33. We have 4x plus 6y minus 4z, and that equals 20. Okay. Now notice here in that second equation, we are missing that x variable right there. There's nothing there, which kind of honestly makes this problem a little bit easier for us. So since there is no x variable here, that means that we are going to just choose to eliminate the x's. Since there's no x variable, if we just choose to eliminate the x's, all I have to do is work with equation 1 and 3, because in equation 2, it's already eliminated for us. So I'm just going to name these 1, 2, and 3. So again, we're going to eliminate x's. And I'm just going to look at equation 1, and I'm going to look at equation 3. Because equation 2 already has the x eliminated. I'm just going to ignore it for a second. It's not doing anything for me. So I have negative 7x plus 4y plus 6z equals 28. And I have 4x plus 6y minus 4z equals 20. Now we chose, or not really chose, but like we're eliminating our x's because the x is already gone here. And like that's not necessarily easy in this problem, but it's not hard either. Since that's a 7 and that's a 4, I need those to be the same. And 4 doesn't go into 7, 7 doesn't go into 4. So I'm just going to take the 4 and multiply it to the top equation. And I'm going to take the 7 and multiply it to the bottom equation. Because when I do that, if I multiply that in right there, I'm going to get a negative 28. If I multiply it in right there, I'm going to get a positive 28. So then those will end up canceling each other. So we can multiply this into the entire top part and to the entire bottom. We might end up with some pretty big numbers, but they'll end up dropping down for us at the end. So 4 times negative 7x is negative 28x. 4 times 4y is 16y. 4 times 6z is 24z. And 4 times 28 is 112. For the bottom, 4 times 7x is 28x. 4 times 6y is 42y. 4 times negative, or 7 times negative 4z is negative 28z. And 7 times 20 is 140. Again, we have some pretty big numbers here, but they'll end up getting smaller. So x's are gone, they canceled out. 16y plus 42y is 58y. 24z minus 28z is negative 4z. And 112 plus 140 is 252. And we're going to call this equation number 4. Any questions with getting to there? Okay. Once we have equation 4, normally we'd go back and we'd have to find another equation in 2 variables. But looking back at this, we have this equation that has a y and a z. This equation also has a y and a z. So I can just put those 2 equations together. So I'm going to put equation 2 with equation 4. That's going to be negative 7y plus z equals negative 33. And 58y minus 4z equals 252. I want to eliminate the z's, will probably be easier here, so I'm going to multiply this top equation by 4. And you multiply it into all of these, we get negative 28y plus 4z, and that equals negative 33 times 4 is negative 132. Z's cancel. 58y minus 28y is 30y. 252 minus 132 is 120. Divide by 30 and we end up getting y equals 4. Okay. Once we solve for that, we can go plug it into one of the two variable equations, solve for z. Once we solve for z, go plug it into one of the three variable equations and solve for x. So let's plug this in. I'm just going to plug it into equation 2. So I have -7 times 4 plus z equals -33 plus -28 plus z equals -33. So z equals -5. Now I can plug that into equation 1 or 3. Doesn't matter. Let's just use equation 3, I guess. That's going to be 4x plus 6 times 4 minus 4 times -5, and that equals 20. That's 4x plus 24 plus 20 equals 20. That's 4x plus 44 equals 20. 20 minus 44 is -24. So x equals -4. Put it in alphabetical order. So it's going to be x, y, z. So -4, 4, -5. Except that was a lie. This is 6. Whoops. (24) divided by 4 is not 4. It is 6. So that's a 6. Okay. Any questions with that? All right. Just so we all kind of know what's going on. I do not know what next week is going to look like yet. As soon as I know, I'll let you guys know. Next Friday, though, is the deadline for all late work. So it's not going to be the deadline for Unit 5, but it will be. So anything before Unit 5, so all the Unit 4 stuff and 3B, all of that, any of the late work from that is due next Friday, including the test. Most people have taken the test. I think there's only like 1 or 2. So if you have it, I'm sure we've talked already. But is there any questions with that? The test for this unit is not going to be until like mid-December. It will be right before Christmas that we test for this. So the test for this is still a little ways away, so we don't need to quite worry about that yet. Okay. That's all I had for you guys. Have a good Thanksgiving. Have a good break. Hopefully you're not doing too much schoolwork during the break. Bye, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Kagan.
You're welcome.
Thank you.